Hello everybody! Today I am going to be doing some nail wraps. I love nail wraps. I love nail polish more, but I love nail wraps too. The main reason I like to wear nail wraps is because they are long-lasting manicures, meaning I can guarantee I can go from day for at least 7 days without a chip, without peeling, without having to worry about doing any kind of touch-up. So I'm going to go over some of the things. These are the essential things I need for doing my nails. And I'll share these with you. Of course, you need your nail wrap. This is just a generic nail wrap that I got. The next thing I like to have is just have some alcohol. Use some alcohol that you have in a paper towel. You want to make sure your nails are free of oils and your fingertips. I make sure both are clean. I need a tool that I can use to pick the wrap up off the backing. And I like to use a tool that has a rubber tip so I can use that to press the wrap down onto. I like to use a nano file for filing the edges. You can use the files that come with it. Usually you get these generic little files. These work great. These cuticle scissors are great for if I don't want to file the edge off, or let's say I didn't get the nail wrap centered on my nails. I can use that for trimming. You can also use cuticle nippers. These are probably going to be, I need to leave these out. These are an essential too. This allows you to trim off any wrap that comes along the edges. I'm going to show you what I do with this tape, but I use the tape to get rid of the film that's on top of the wrap. I need a base coat for my nails. Some people don't need a base coat. I need a base coat because my nails are very fragile. They split and peel easy, and I'm prone to an allergic reaction. And I think I've had an allergic reaction to the adhesive in the nail wrap. Glue. So I like to put a barrier between the nail wrap and my nail. So I'll put on a coat of Nail Aid. Right now the top coat that I'm using is Sally Hansen Miracle Gel. I like this one. I also want to try the C&D Vinyl Luxe top coat. That's the one that is the holy grail. But this one is one that's recommended, and it doesn't seem to change how the wrap looks, meaning sometimes when you put a top coat on some wraps with some polishes, it can melt the way the top, it doesn't look right. It bubbles, it just doesn't work well with the wrap itself. This one works great with all of them. And there's minimal shrinking with this, meaning the wrap, sometimes the wrap will shrink away from the edges, kind of like if you use a quick dry top coat. I don't even recommend using a quick dry top coat with wraps. You definitely will get shrinking. So you want to use something that doesn't dry fast. And the good thing is you're not drying layers of polish underneath the top coat, so you don't need a quick dry. You don't need a quick dry top coat. I'm going to go ahead and get my wraps situated. I just cut it out. I'll save the package because I'm not going to use all these. Here's where the tape comes in handy. I get a length of tape, which is the length of the wrap. I stick it on. Leeway to remove the edges here. It didn't pick up that one. Let's see if we can get it. All right, we got it. You give yourself enough room. As you can see, it's removing that clear film off the top of the wrap. For most of them. Nah, there we are. Make sure you pick a wrap that is just a tiny bit bigger, littler than your nail. If you don't have one that fits, always go smaller, or use your little cuticle scissors here to trim it out. I have to use these two for my thumb. For my pinky, I use this one. And what I do is I cut this one in half, use half on one finger and half on the other. It's just my thumbnail beds are a little bit longer, so I sometimes can't get both thumbs on one of these. This nail I use for my index finger, this nail for my ring finger, and then this one for my middle finger. Then I have these two left over, which I will put over with these leftovers. I'm gonna stick them back in my little case here. There we go. Now I'm not going to seal this up yet because I might make a mistake, and I might need to go in here and fish one of these out. So the next thing I do is I am going to trim this off because I'm going to cut it in half and trim these off. This side is larger than this side. My right hand is a little bit larger than my left hand, so I will cut this down the middle and use this one on my right hand and then this side on my left hand. Eyeball where the center is. And again, this is my right hand. And I'll just set it over to the side in order that I'm going to apply it. And that one's my left hand. So this one is my ring finger. It's just the size smaller. And I'm just trimming. And I like cuticle scissors because look at the control you have. Look how slow you can cut. So you can cut and then, so I'm going to exaggerate this a little bit. I'm going slow. So as I'm cutting, I'm also moving this hand. So I'm working together to get that curve. For my thumb, this one is the exact one that I need for both thumbs, because this one's too large for my thumbs. I mean, you might go, well, that fits perfectly. It overlaps just a little bit, so I can't really use this size without having lifting on my nails. So what I do is I use the other thumbnail wrap to kind of gauge, to cut it. Just kind of line it up. You can be more precise. You can get a real thin pen and trace the edges. And I might do that because this is slip sliding around really good here. So I'm gonna hold it down really firm with my finger. Etch where I'm going to cut. I'm just going to use this tool to kind of scratch how much I need to take off. There we go. I just need to know exactly how much I need to trim off. There we go. You can see that little line. I'm going to cut where I engraved, I don't know, what is that called? So I'm going to cut straight down, take off the width. I mean, look there, you're not even taking off hardly anything. But believe me, it makes a difference. And you don't have to do this. You can use up the entire wrap, but I want to wear this, and again, it's pretty. So I don't want to waste it. It's pretty. And now it's kind of squared. And, you know, if it's not perfect, it's okay. Yeah. That's going to work good. I am now going to get started with applying the wraps. I mean, you don't have to be this meticulous, but I'll go through and make sure I remove all the oils off my fingernails. Make sure that you also take off any, if you have a lot of cuticles, go ahead and give yourself a good manicure. Take off any peely edges if you have any. You don't have to buff your nails. So I'm going to go ahead and apply my nail aid. What I do to avoid touching the wrap is use these. But I still use these, so I'm not using my finger to go between the wrap and the backing. And we just pull it off. At this point, I like to kind of straighten it out a little bit. I like to take a look at the wrap and center the wrap on my nail. And then I lay it down. Then I flip this over and I press it down the center here. I want to make sure that it will not go past my skin on either side. I do have it centered and it's good, because if not, I can pull it up and I can readjust it before I stick it down. So now I will just stick it down. I'll use the flat end, the pointy end. I just rub that sticker down. And then I really rub it all the way to my nail edge. At this point, you have the option of filing it off. You can take if you're really good with your little cuticle scissors, you can trim it off. For this one, I think we'll go ahead and trim it off just so I can show you. And this is not my preferred way, because I run the risk of cutting my nail. But some people do this so they can trim their nail too at the same time. So I'm just going to go along my nail and cut it off. Now for this nail, this wrap, I still have a little bit of hanging over, so I want to get that off. Some people like to do this because you have less shrinking. Just getting all those little edges. And then you see it's just a little bit longer, like a fraction longer than my nail. And you can kind of rub it over. I don't particularly like to do that. I like it to be flush with my nail, so I'm gonna go ahead and file that edge. I don't want any adhesive getting caught with any hairs or fuzzies, you know, so that's all we're gonna do. Alrighty, so there's option one for doing your wrap. And for this one, I'm just gonna use my fingers holding it. I'm gonna do it the way I like to do it. Now I just go and look at my finger. I get it to the cuticle, I center it over the nail, and kind of slide it in place. And see if I'm holding it, I can put my thumb down on it. And we're good. I check the sides that it's not too, and I'll just press it down. Now my thumb has already pressed down the center, so I just use this one to press the rest. And you can use your finger too. And what I do is I fold down the extra wrap here. I hold my file, see, it's either at a 90 degrees or slightly more. We don't want to be over the nail. We want to be perpendicular or slightly at that angle. And then what I'm going to do is file in one direction. And you definitely want to do this if you're using a regular nail file. Just go all the way around the edges here. And then you see I'm filing, lifting up, filing, lifting up, filing, lifting up. I'm not going back and forth. Now that's with the regular nail file. With this file, you can go a little bit more. Now I'm going to test and see if it has broken free, and it hasn't. Usually the culprit is right here on this little edge here. Even with the regular file, I will take this, kind of go under the nail there and do one quick swipe. You see it broke it free. I do the same thing on the other side, on the other edge. Didn't quite break it free there, but I could have missed it. Here we go. Now I have this nail done. You can see it's a little shorter than my nail. I didn't do a great job with centering it, but that is fine. You're not going to see it from a distance. So I folded over the edges here, just kind of hold it over. Again, I'm going to go, I like to go at this angle, and then we just file in one direction. And one motion. So I'm pretty sure I got that disconnected from my nail. And then I know it's not disconnected from the corners here. So I just take my file, kind of get it under there and do a quick swipe in one direction. See? I get that under there and do a file in one direction. And I've got the excess off. This looks a little small for that finger, doesn't it? So if you see I have that a little bit of gap here. I'm going to show you what some people do. This is a very pliable wrap, so we're going to pull. I pulled it just to the edge. Now if you have a design like a line or something, you won't be able to stretch it to the edge. And it only works with pliable wraps. You may have a wrap that's not pliable and it might be brittle and it might break. So we're just going to lay that one down on that side. And you see, I kind of narrowed that gap there by just picking it up and pulling it. But you gotta make sure your fingers don't have oils on there. Now for this one, I know it's just too long. I don't want too much overhang here. So I'm going to go ahead and cut off a little bit of this wrap, maybe just about right here. So now, and you can do these sitting in a chair in your living room with some good glasses on. You don't have to sit at a nail desk. You see, I got a gap here, so I'm gonna pull it over, stretch it a little bit to bring it over. Look at there. This one stretches really good. I didn't quite get it to the cuticle, but that is okay. I didn't get it centered on my nail, so it's kind of wonky, kind of like that way. Now, when you finish, you're going to be tempted to use some alcohol and start cleaning up everything. Don't clean up anything until you put a top coat on, because alcohol will make these sticky and gummy. So you don't want to do that. Do it. Wait before you clean. So I'm just gonna move the outside out of the way, and I'm gonna get my little cuticle nippers, and I'm gonna zoom in. I got the wrap onto my skin here accidentally. Usually what I like to do is kind of lift up where it's touching the skin, so I can get the nipper around it. And I'm just going to trim it as though I had a hangnail. Now I think I can push yeah, that looks good. Oh, my skin is dry. So I just use a stiff brush and get the filing dust off. When your wraps is just the tiniest bit smaller than your nail, is that top coat will go around the edges and seal everything in good. So I'm going to start with this finger. And I do flood the cuticle just a little bit with the polish, and we get the edge. Now some people use gel polish as their top coat, but you want to use gel top coat. That's gel that has a base coat included, so it's a 2-in-1 top coat. Otherwise, you'll need to put down a base coat of gel, cure it, and then do a top coat of gel. I've got my top coat on. Isn't that pretty? Usually what I do is I do my wraps before bed and then take my shower the next day. Or go ahead and get your shower first. Make sure your nails dry completely. And then do your wraps and you're good to go. These are really, really pretty. So, I am going to seal this up. So what I do is I take some tape. I find these don't dry out. These are not made, they're made with nail polish components. But the way they're made, the colors and things that are in between, it's really not nail polish. It's just the components of nail polish, making the pigments and the colors and things like that. So. These don't dry out, but I still like to seal them up just so they don't fall out. Then maybe it might keep them from drying out. But I've used wraps that have been 2 years repackaged like this. Now at this point, you can get some alcohol and clean if your nails are dry. You can use some alcohol to clean up the adhesive that's stuck on your tools. You can clean your brush, and you see how it's got some of the adhesive on here? I just get some alcohol. I pick up some alcohol into my brush. You just scrub it on there. Comes right off. It's amazing. I love it. That is pretty. And you know, the good thing about this is there's no texture. There's no texture, there's minimal dry time except for application, but as you get experienced, it goes faster and faster and faster. So, but I'm very meticulous, so it takes me a little bit longer. But you know, you can slap them on and go. That is really pretty. That's gonna be really pretty on the beach in the sun. Maybe I'll get some shots of this on the beach in the sun. So, why do I wear nail wraps? When I need a manicure to last 7 to 10 days, it's great for vacations. I don't have time because of life. I want nail art, but I can't recreate it or even create it. When I want nail growth, it does help me grow longer nails. When I don't feel well enough to pull out polish and polish my nails. When I want to extend the wear of a favorite nail polish, like if I have a favorite nail polish I like to wear and it's just so pretty, I'll put a transparent nail wrap over the top once the nail polish is dried, and then put the wrap on top and it helps it last longer. So these are my essentials: base coat, top coat, some alcohol, cuticle nippers, cuticle scissors, dual-ended tweezer with a silicone cuticle pusher tool, a glass file, nail brush, and some transparent tape. So why do I wear base coat? For me, it provides a protective barrier to prevent nail damage. I experienced a mild nail separation and nail surface damage when I wore wraps before. After my nails healed, I was able to wear wraps again when I applied a base coat, and I didn't have any further damage or onycholysis. Base coats also help wraps to adhere better if you have oily nail beds. I have a family member that has oily nail beds, and I recommended a base coat. Not everyone needs a base coat. It depends on your nail structure as to whether the step is needed. I recommend Nail Aid as the base coat that I use. So why do I wear a top coat? It provides a protective barrier and a glossy finish. Alcohol, hand sanitizers, cleaning products, and sunscreen will break down the nail wrap, and it makes it sticky and gooey, so having that top coat protects that from happening. I do avoid quick dry top coats because they do cause the wrap to shrink. Some top coats don't work with wraps, so you have to make sure that your wrap works with your top coat, so you want to test it first. My favorite top coat is the Sally Hansen Miracle Gel, but I also want to try that C&D Vinyl Lux. Here are the application steps. Manicure nails, make sure you push back your nail fold and remove excess cuticle. Make sure nails are clean and free of oils. Clean with alcohol or lint-free wipe. Apply a base coat and allow it to fully dry. Remove that plastic film. Pick a wrap that's smaller than your nail bed. If your nails are short, cut wrap in half and you can get 2 uses. Apply wrap to base of nail and close to the cuticle without going over or touching it. Press and smooth the wrap from the base of the nail, then press the sides and then across the top. File off the excess or trim it with scissors. Remember to only file in a downward motion perpendicular to the nail edge. Avoid side-to-side filing or upwards because it allows dust and grit to get on the wrap. If you have a stubborn nail corner, angle that file under there and do a quick motion to release it. Remove filing dust, apply a top coat, and wait 6 hours. So what do you do if your nail wrap is too big or too small? If it's too small, pick 2 wraps that's going to cover your nail. Cut the smaller wrap in half and apply each half to the outer edges or sides of the nail. Then apply the small wrap over the top, kind of in the center of those two. It overlap a little bit. Then apply top coat to seal. If your wrap is slightly too small, you can gently stretch it over the sides to cover like I showed in the video. But be careful, this does distort wraps with designs. If wrap is too small, you can paint a similar nail polish color on your nail, let that fully dry, and then you can apply the wrap. If the wrap is too big, just use a wrap that does fit your nail and use it as a guide to trim the other nail. The other nail wrap. So how do you remove these? One of the first ways you can do it is using warm coconut oil. Heat up a small amount of coconut oil, about 2 to 3 tablespoons, in a microwave until it melts. It's not too hot where it doesn't burn your skin. Soak your hand in the bowl for about 30 seconds until the wrap begins to loosen. You can use a cuticle stick or a floss pick to work gently under the nail wrap to remove it. My favorite way to remove wraps is to use polish remover. Soak a piece of cotton ball in acetone, mineral fusion, or your favorite remover and apply it to the nail. Apply a nail clip on top. I wait about 3 to 5 minutes. Now it varies. I'll check it after about 3 minutes to see if I need some more time because the wrap should slide right off when you gently pull. Remove any remaining residue with acetone. I thought these tips were useful on how to prevent shrinkage from wraps. One way is to heat wraps with a hairdryer before you apply your top coat. So just blast them with some warm air from your hairdryer and apply that top coat. Another way is apply 2 layers of base coat, let it dry completely, and then gently buff the top coat gently buff that base coat to make a rough surface. It's kind of like scoring the base coat so that the adhesive kind of sticks to that rough surface. You can also use oily bonder or any sticky base coat after you apply a base coat to help the wrap adhere. Another tip is to avoid stretching the wraps, avoid quick dry top coats, apply only 1 layer of top coat, apply top coat the next day, trim instead of filing, and be sure to file perpendicular to the nail. Next day, if you see that you have any shrinkage, you can also just file your nail down to the wrap edge. Well, that's it. That is how I apply nail wraps, and those are some tips on how to apply nail wraps. Leave me a comment down below if you use nail wraps, and if you have any tips that I may have forgot to mention in this video. I want to thank you all for watching, and hope you have a great day. Bye.